role, which was being a mom. I've lived in this neighborhood for nearly 40 years. It's where I raised our children. As a young family, we were drawn here because it was affordable, close to downtown, airport, library, and that recreation center, and it was safe. Sadly, that's changed over the years. Today, we're plagued by burglaries, drug dealing, gun violence, and even homicides. The good people of this community work to make it better every day. The Greater East Side Coalition, with which we have some representatives, which consists of the Mid-East, Far East, and Greater Southeast Commissions, was created to keep crime from moving from one commission to another and to improve the entire East Side. But we can't do it alone. That is why I am just so happy and grateful for the work being done over the last 24 hours. I'm grateful to Chief Bryant for coming up with the idea of this, joining law enforcement with support services, so many things that our community needs. And I'm thankful to all the officers and social services personnel who carry out the tough and important work to make our community safer. It is my dream and the dream of all of our communities to once again be a place where singles can buy their first home, young families can seek to raise their children, and people like my husband and I can retire. And today I'm reassured that the work of everyone here will be a big step toward getting us there. Sincerely, I thank you all so much. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our mayor, Mayor Andy Ganther.
Thank you, Quay. Thank you, Quay, for the introduction and for being such an incredible advocate for your neighborhood, and to all of your partners, all these great neighborhood and community leaders. Thank you all for what you do every day to work with law enforcement and other folks in the community to make our neighborhoods safer. I'd like to start by recognizing the incredible work of our officers and staff, community and law enforcement partners, neighboring jurisdictions, and everyone else who contributed to this effort. In particular, I'd like to recognize Chief Bryant, Sheriff Baldwin, Chief Crispen from Whitehall, and the President of the Franklin County Police Chiefs Association, our Department of Neighborhoods, Marianne Stuckey from the CARE Coalition, and others that are here, all of our state and federal partners. I want to thank them for all of their efforts. Operation Unity required significant planning and coordination, but our message is simple. Crime and lawlessness will not be tolerated in the city of Columbus. Our residents deserve better. Our first responders deserve better. Our children, families, and seniors deserve better. We hear your concerns, we understand your fears and your frustrations. Simply put, the status quo is unacceptable. We're deploying new and creative strategies across the board, bringing all of our resources to bear in a multi-level, multifaceted approach to reduce crime and improve lives. Law enforcement is an important part of the solution, but there are other components as well. This is also an opportunity to strengthen and restore trust between our officers and our residents, to forge new friendships and establish meaningful bonds that bring people together. That's why this operation included our horse-mounted units and safe street officers, aspects and angles of the badge that may be new or unfamiliar to some, particularly our youth. We're also enlisting the expertise and involvement of other city departments and community partners to provide support for mental health, addiction, trauma, homelessness, and unemployment. The CARE Coalition, Department of Neighborhoods, and local churches, to name a few, are stepping up to help individuals and families overcome challenges and pursue positive outcomes. This is what community policing looks like. It's why it is so important. We will not move forward equitably and sustainably without addressing not only crime, but the range of issues impacting people's lives. Actions matter. Consequences matter. But the progress we achieve will not endure far beyond this moment unless we illuminate a pathway toward healthy and sustainable behaviors while holding those who commit crimes accountable. Our work in this neighborhood is not at an end. There's still many challenges. This initiative will expand to include other areas as well, and we will continue to explore new and effective ways to further embody a 21st century community policing model. My thanks to Chief Bryant for her leadership, creativity, vision, and dedication to making a swift and substantive impact in her new role. She's bringing fresh, data-driven ideas to the table, embracing collaboration at every turn, and laying the foundation for a safer, more resilient Columbus. I'll turn things over to Chief Bryant. Chief?
Take the mask off. Good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor, Ms. Barnes, Chief Crispen, all of our local partners. Thank you for being here. I also want to recognize the proud men and women of the Columbus Division of Police. They did a phenomenal job over the last 24 hours. We are here to not only clean up this neighborhood of crime and dangerous activity, but also to wrap our arms around the families around here. We selected this area for our first Operation Unity in response to what we heard from the citizens, from the community. You know, we hear about the crime statistics. We know that there was an uptick in violence in this particular area, and it's clearly unacceptable. And so we're here because we want to make sure that we send that message loud and clear, that we want to make sure that our citizens are able to enjoy their neighborhoods, sit on their porches without being concerned about crime, children being able to ride their bikes without being concerned about catching a stray bullet. We call this Operation Unity to represent the collaborative effort, not just among law enforcement agencies, but also social service agencies. You've heard me say before that we cannot police our way or arrest our way out of criminal activity. And it's true. It's not enough to just react to violence. We need to get to the root of what causes and drives our violence. That includes our socio-economic factors like poverty, addiction, mental health, domestic violence. That is why it was important for this to not just be another criminal roundup. I'm so grateful for our partners with the CARE Coalition, the Department of Neighborhoods and Recreation and Parks. In a moment, we will share our numbers and results of this operation. But first, I want to make a few things clear. You will hear a significant number of traffic stops. Not all of them resulted in people being cited. It's very important to understand that our officers use these opportunities to engage and educate our residents. We're not looking for that young mother who, works 3 jobs and has a defective tail light. We want to give her the opportunity to fix that. We're not looking for that young man on his way to work that just left school. We're concerned about violent criminals, our felons. We're concerned about getting these guns off the streets. And we all know that a lot of our traffic stops, they lead to a lot of times people with guns. We stopped several people in these neighborhoods, convicted felons that were armed. So although this was a small footprint that we operated in, the results were astounding. It proved what we already knew. We have issues and concerns in this area that need to be addressed. Our residents, they deserve that. We took illegal guns off the streets. We took violent criminals and drunk drivers off the street. We're eager to work with our partners in the prosecutor's office and our judges to see these cases to a just conclusion. The work doesn't end here. You have our commitment from the Division of Police that we will keep our focus on these problems. But we will also keep our focus on making sure that we wrap our arms around the community. We're not done here. We're not just doing this operation for one day and we're walking away. We're going to continue to engage. We're going to continue to provide services. We're going to make sure that these residents have what they need to have a phenomenal quality of life because they deserve that. Every resident in Columbus deserves that. And we're going to make sure that they get it. We will keep our foot on the gas. This is just one of many first operations for Operation Unity. So I'm just going to say to the residents, We hear your concerns and we're ready to address them. To our criminals, we're coming. We suggest that you clean up your act because we're coming, and we're going to make sure that we address our citizens and make sure that they have the quality of life that they deserve here in the city of Columbus. With that, I want to welcome DC Bodker to share the results of our operation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Greg Bodker. I'm the Deputy Chief over what was formerly known as Patrol South, now Community South, which encompasses the area where we stand today. Thank you to Chief Bryant and Assistant Chief Potts for initiating Operation Unity, as well as to all of our teammates that stand behind me today. Operation Unity is an operation that was designed to decrease and deter violent crime in a specific geographic area. Our partners took part in their areas, and that was designed to include utilizing many resources during a compacted time frame, and then wrapping around in the days that followed with social service support. We initiated Operation Unity because of people like Mackenzie Ridley, people like Olivia Kurtz, who were impacted by violent crime, and their families continue to be impacted by violent crime. The law-abiding people of Columbus are asking for help, and that's why we all stand here today. Some of the early statistics from Operation Unity, which occurred over the last 24 hours, and this is specific to Columbus. The chief made brief mention. We initiated 251 traffic stops in a small geographic area. That included 100 warnings for people. She mentioned not writing citations to everyone. So our goal was not to write a ticket to someone who didn't deserve a traffic ticket. 18 felony arrests, 5 OVI arrests, and I will mention that some of those OVI arrests required search warrants from the officers that made the arrests. 9 search warrants were served. 11 illegal guns were recovered. And many illegal substances such as fentanyl, heroin, and cocaine were recovered. We've provided more specific statistics in our press release. But our partners in the community expect law enforcement to be proactive. This is a step in that direction. The Columbus Division of Police cannot enforce the law without our teammates standing behind us. That includes the people that live and work in Columbus and our law enforcement partners. Now I believe I'll turn it over to Sheriff Baldwin.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you for everybody coming. I'm Sheriff Baldwin, and it was a pleasure to take part in Operation Unity. I think for the first time I can remember, we had a 100% participation by law enforcement agencies within Franklin County in this endeavor. For a 24-hour period, the stats are incredible, and you've heard every speaker, from the first speaker, Mayor Ginther, Chief Bryant. Everyone talked about the purpose of being out here, and it's for community and public safety. Our communities deserve it. You know, each community is suffering from the same effects of crime. Whether you're in Columbus, you're in Grove City, it doesn't matter where you're at, but everywhere in Franklin County, we're having the same issues. So it's time for our law enforcement agencies to come together and address this problem. You know, there's been some of the stats that were given out, numerous illegal weapons were taken off of the street. And we know in law enforcement, every time there's an illegal weapon on the street, that can be used in a homicide or a felonious assault. Taking those weapons off of the street yesterday, no doubt, saved people's lives. The drunk drivers are taken off the street, the impaired drivers. All that impacts the quality of life in our communities. And it's just been a pleasure to work with the many different agencies in addressing that problem. It's now my pleasure to introduce our Franklin County President of the Chiefs Association, Chief Mike Crispen.
Well, thanks, Sheriff. Thanks, Chief Bryant. Mayor, I think you said it best, and we're all repeating it, so I'm just going to go ahead and repeat it one more time. Our community, our citizens deserve better than what's happening, and so I'm I'm very grateful for this collaboration. But I want to first say thanks because these folks have always been there for us in law enforcement. That's our federal partners, that are state partners. Anytime, even in Franklin County or even in our own jurisdictions, whenever we ask for some help from the federal agencies, the FBI, the ATF, the DEA, Secret Service, some of which who are standing here right now behind us, they drop everything and they're always there for us. So them and the State Patrol, Department of Public Safety, thanks each and every one of you for all your assistance the last 24 hours as well. So what we did is, I think when we had this question was asked to us, can we participate or assist a little bit in this Operation Unity? Franklin County Chiefs Associations, we were in the middle of a meeting when it was brought to our attention, and we jumped all over this because partnering is part of why we even exist in the first place as an association. We share resources with each other, but being able to share resources and collaborate with the community at the exact same time, that's how we get this done. And I think that's already been alluded to. We challenged all the agencies to participate with Columbus's effort by going out and doing two things: education, community outreach, and enforcement of those major issues that are causing our violent crimes. And so I want to hit just a couple of those. I got a lot of statistics that we will release after this to the media, so I'm not going to run down that list. You already heard some great efforts that's already been done, but as the sheriff alluded to, in the county during this 24-hour period, 32 illegal weapons were taken away from some of the stops and contacts that we made. Again, he's already told you that's a potential 32 additional homicides. So that's to me, that was just an unbelievable effort by the community chiefs of police in the county. Also, we reached out, and I'm going to stop here on the numbers because we got a pretty lengthy list I'll release to you. But I think what's really phenomenal to us is we didn't only just partner with the agencies to reach out to communities in a crime enforcement effort. We asked even the universities to sort of help us out by working with their students and educating their students, and we worked with our community for the same purpose, and that number exceeds 5,000 people within Franklin County was contacted in the last 24 hours, education-wise or collaboration-wise, on how to prevent themselves and others from becoming victims of crime. Preventing crime is even better than finding those who committed it. So that's what we were focused on a lot the last couple of days, and so it was a great effort. So we'll release those numbers to you later. And as the chief has already alluded to, this effort, I believe this collaboration is going to continue on and on and on. We won't say when, that would probably be giving it away. However, it will continue. And as the chief has already said, the lawlessness has to stop. Our citizens deserve better. We have a duty as police officers to protect people's life, liberty, and their property, and we're going to do that well, but we can do it so much better when the community is helping us do that. So thanks to each of you for coming, and thanks to everybody that's helped out. And I guess from here, I believe it's my turn to open it up to any questions that you might have, not necessarily from me directly, but anybody up here, although I could probably help answer. But so we'll start from there. Anybody call out a name or somebody, and we'll open it up to questions.
When you talk about a small geographic footprint, how big was the area that this was targeted in? How many square miles was really the focus of this operation?
I'll let the Chief Bryant speak to Columbus, but I can tell you from the Franklin County effort, we asked 100% of the chiefs that attend this, there's 28 different executives, to do whatever was necessary and was needed in their own community. So in general, because we got 100% participation, outside of Columbus, this should have been about 100% of the area.
For Columbus specific, we tried to focus in on a very, very targeted area. So we're talking between 2 to 3 square miles. We were very, very specific about the area that we wanted to be in. But again, like I said, just the first of many.
And you picked this area, 9 precinct where we're at has had 12 homicides so far this year. Was that a factor in picking this area versus a lot of other areas in the city?
It was. And one of the factors was not only the 12 homicides, but specifically the uptick in crime when you look at it across the board, not just homicides, but other crimes as well. So we are data driven. We're looking at it, and we're also looking at the outcry from our community. We know that this is needed everywhere. So trust me, we're hearing and we're listening.
I know you guys said that you won't say when the next Operation Unity will be. But how often do you plan on having an operation of this nature?
Not gonna tell you that. Just know that again, we're gonna keep our foot on that gas, and we are committed to, and not just stopping here. We're not just gonna come here for 24 hours and then walk away. This is an effort that's going to continue even in this area. Engagement, services. We're going to make sure that we reach out. We're going to try to do things in the community, whether it be block parties. We're going to make sure that we wrap our arms around this community and stay here as well. But can't tell you that, but trust me, you'll know.
What was the cost in all of this? This was a 24-hour period. Was this an overtime? Is this a new task force? What was the cost, and then how was it just for Columbus that pays the cost, or is it spread out, I guess?
So we utilized the resources that we had. It was a collaborative effort. If Deputy Chief Knight and Bodker can speak to it specifically. We took the resources that we had and we poured into it, and believe it or not, a lot of officers, they're excited about this. They wanted to participate, and we have our federal partners that we are already on task force with that also participated. We served warrants. We did so many different things, but there was resources that were already available to us within our own footprint that we had to reallocate to be able to do this, but we didn't take away from anything. So did it cost something? It did, but I think that the neighbors and the citizens would say it was well worth it. I don't have that for you at this particular moment.
Of the arrests made, were there any outstanding warrants?
Yes. If you look at the stats, DC Bodker, do you have that specific? I think that were they felony warrants? Yes, we had 18 felony warrants.
99 total for the county.
Right, 99 total for the county, but 18 specific to Columbus. Remember, this is 24 hours. Anyone else?
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you, sir.
Oh, yeah, that was my within the speed limit driving to.